Alright, so here's what's going on. Samsung still hasn't decided which processor will power the Galaxy S26 series. Yeah, even now, just months before the big launch, they're still weighing their options. It's basically a showdown between two big names, Exynos 2600 and Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. Now, November is already here, and that means we're getting super close to the Galaxy S26 reveal. Leaks have been pouring in left and right. We've heard about design tweaks, camera upgrades, and even that Samsung is bringing back the Galaxy S26 Plus. And apparently, they're keeping that sleek and slim form factor that fans love. But the most surprising part, Samsung still hasn't locked down the processor decision. And that's huge, because the chip inside the phone literally decides how powerful, fast, and efficient it'll be. It's the brain of the device. So here's the interesting part. During Samsung's Q3 2025 earnings call, the company admitted that they're still evaluating their AP options. AP stands for Application Processor, basically the main chip. That means both the Exynos 2600 and Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 are still on the table. Now, they didn't say those names directly, but come on, we know what they're talking about. Leaks for months have linked the Exynos 2600 to the Galaxy S26, and the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is Qualcomm's latest and most powerful chip yet. Samsung even said it's difficult to confirm the finalization for next year's flagship lineup. So yeah, either they really haven't made a final call yet, or they're just keeping everything under wraps for strategic reasons. Because remember, Samsung never reveals major hardware details this early. They like to keep fans guessing. But let's break down what this could mean. If Samsung picks Exynos 2600, that's them saying we trust our own chips again. They've been working on this for years, making their in-house processors more powerful and efficient. The Exynos 2600 is rumored to use a 3nm process, which should make it faster and cooler while using less power. And here's the big thing. If Samsung goes all in with Exynos, it gives them way more control. They don't have to rely on Qualcomm. They can design their chips exactly the way they want, integrate them perfectly with their phones, and even save money on production. More control, more profit, and maybe even lower prices for us. But there's a catch. The Exynos brand doesn't have the best reputation. Fans still remember the days when Exynos phones ran hotter, had weaker graphics, and didn't perform as well as their Snapdragon versions. So Samsung really has to prove that this new Exynos chip is on the same level or better. Now, if Samsung decides to go with Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, it's a completely different story. That chip is a monster. It's known for super fast performance, crazy good power efficiency, and some of the best AI and gaming power on Android right now. It's basically the safe and reliable choice. Snapdragon chips also get better support from app developers and game studios since they're used so widely. So if Samsung wants to make sure the Galaxy S26 performs consistently everywhere, from gaming to camera performance, Snapdragon is the no-brainer option. But that also means higher costs, because Qualcomm chips don't come cheap. So Samsung has to decide, do they want the safe but expensive Snapdragon, or do they take a risk on their improved Exynos and save money? Now, let's not forget, Samsung has done this split chip thing before. The Galaxy S24 series had Snapdragon chips in some regions and Exynos in others. That created a lot of debate online, people comparing benchmark scores, battery life, even temperatures. It became a whole war, Exynos versus Snapdragon, and fans were not happy about that inconsistency. So maybe this time Samsung wants to go all in on one chip worldwide to avoid that mess. Or maybe they'll keep the split again, Snapdragon in the US and Canada, Exynos in Europe and Asia. It's totally possible. What makes this even more interesting is that Samsung isn't just competing with Qualcomm, they're competing with Apple too. The iPhone's A-series chips are insanely fast, and Samsung knows it. So if they want to stand out, they need to bring serious performance to the Galaxy S26 Ultra, especially for gaming, AI, and camera processing. Now, let's talk about the chips a bit deeper. The Exynos 2600 could be Samsung's redemption arc. It's rumored to use their company's new 3nm node, which means smaller transistors, better performance, and less heat. Some leaks say it might feature a stronger GPU developed in partnership with AMD, so gaming could be a big step up this time. Meanwhile, the Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 is built on TSMC's cutting-edge process, and it's all about efficiency and raw power. We've seen early benchmarks from prototype phones, and this chip absolutely crushes most competition. It also has a big focus on on-device AI, something Samsung could use to power new camera tricks, smarter photo editing, and voice features. Now, Samsung also mentioned during the earnings call that they have clear criteria for what they want to offer customers. That means they're probably running tons of internal tests right now, performance tests, heat management, real-world battery drain to see which chip delivers the better experience. And here's the thing, maybe Samsung already knows which one performs better, but they're just keeping quiet to build suspense. Because imagine the hype if they suddenly drop a teaser saying, introducing the Galaxy S26 Ultra powered by our most advanced 3nm Exynos chip ever. That would get everyone talking. Or maybe they'll surprise us and go, every Galaxy S26 model worldwide will use Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5. That would be a first, and fans would absolutely love that decision. Now, here's a fun little thing Samsung started, the Mystery Box program. If you plan to buy the Galaxy S26, you can actually sign up now and get a free box full of goodies. Cases, screen protectors, chargers, phone stands, cleaning kits, all that stuff. It's basically Samsung's way of saying, hey, get ready for the launch, we've got something special for early fans. So yeah, here's where we stand. The Galaxy S26 series is coming soon, the design's shaping up to be sleek, the features sound promising, and the performance battle is heating up. But the big question is still hanging in the air, Exynos or Snapdragon? Which one do you want powering your next Galaxy phone? The in-house Exynos 2600 that could finally redeem Samsung's chip division, or the proven Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 that guarantees top-tier performance? Whatever they choose, it's going to define how the Galaxy S26 performs, how it's priced, and how it competes with Apple next year. One thing's for sure, all eyes are on Samsung right now. And if history tells us anything, they like to surprise people at the last minute. So the next few weeks, they're going to be interesting. Because this isn't just about picking a chip, it's about the future of Samsung's entire flagship strategy. And we're about to see which path they choose.